This video is the second part of the LOL Nova commentary What if everyone had a mirror fighter? So if you want to get the whole picture, you need to watch the first part, which is found in the description. Or here, or he... I don't know what the description is going to be when you watch this video because YouTube keeps changing all the time. Oh boy, how do you even mirror Samuel L. Jackson over here? He's not only a real-life person, but also an actor whose moveset is based around multiple movies. I really doubt there is an actor out there that has been in the same exact movies as Sammy, so there is not much material. My first thought was to make Bruce Willis, as both were in Die Hard 3, so they could share the same side B. Maybe make Neutral B another gun? But even then I felt Bruce just has too much material for a full moveset, and making him Samuel L. Jackson too just feels wrong. Then I thought, why not take one of Samuel L. Jackson's roles and expand it into a full moveset? And that's how I came up with Nick Fury. The Marvel Cinematic Universe is barely represented in Samuel L. Jackson's moveset aside from the entrance, which would be the same for Nick. As for the rest of the other moves, just take Samuel's attacks and make them Marvel based. Nick Fury uses guns, so maybe Neutral B could expand the shooting part while removing the interrogatory elements. Maybe Up B could be dragged by one of those aliens from the first Avengers movie. Maybe Down B could be Goose from Captain Marvel, who would counter attacks by using the tentacles. And the final smash? Instead of the motherfucking snakes, is the motherfucking Avengers, assembling to kick ass. While this idea is cool, somebody in the LOL Nexus Discord server commented a way Nick Fury could work even better. Just make him like Kiran from LOL Beatdown, but instead of the Fire Emblem heroes, he calls the different Marvel heroes. If I had to make him into a mirror, I would, but please, anybody, take the Kiran idea, it's super good. The only real possible mirror for Katie is, of course, her husband Norrin. The main issue with Norrin is the fact that he does not show up that often in the comics, meaning that I would have to draw a lot of the sprites from scratch or do a lot of Frankensteining for him to work. I imagine him as a bit more down to earth than Katie, given a huge part of his appearances are indeed 24-hour comics. Same way Leonard is not as weird as Sheldon, although the difference here is that Katie's moveset is weirder, much weirder than Sheldon's. I don't really have many solid ideas for Norrin, to be honest, aside from Final Smash most likely being him driving his car instead of calling an Entei. I can see Up B using the other evolution lines of the Kanto starters, either with Charmeleon and Charizard to give the move a fiery twist and Charizard allowing him to glide once he reaches the maximum height, or having Ivysaur and Venusaur, using Vine Whip in some fashion. Even though this is not really a reference to Awkward Zombie, I think it would be very fitting to have them using different starters.
Feast your eyes, look into the mirror.
He sings a song called The Mirror Never Lies. Who else but Captain Scurvy? I figured the stats would be largely the same, but the moves would be altered to be pirate themed. For instance, the Clap Blaster could be replaced by the arm cannon that Scurvy always carries around with him, and Side B could be shooting out one of his two minions out of the cannon, but maybe making it so it always grabs. The other two specials are a bit harder to come up with, but bombing the stage with cannonballs would definitely be the final smash. If you read Lawl Nova's What Could Have Been document, you may remember that was a scrapped idea I had for K. Rool, so it could come back here. Sadly, this is as far as it goes. I feel Skirby is just too unique to be relegated to a mirror. He may be an orange General Clump with a pirate hat, but his pirate motifs and the episodes could lead for a very cool regular moveset. I think the biggest reason I didn't add him was his normals. While K. Rool uses his body a lot on his normals, Skirby has a cutlass, and with the amount of animations that he has with it, I find it a missed opportunity not to give him that. I also want to clarify that throw some Lawl back at them is not the reason he's not a mirror, as by the time I was planning the mirrors for the extras, that Lawl was set to be cancelled. So it wasn't like I was stealing a character from an ongoing Lawl at the time. Superintendent Chalmers? Nah. In a way, that guy has a combination of Timmy's mom and Dinkelberg's problems. He has very little importance and material from the show, and what little he has is way too radically different from Skinner. My views on him also kind of soured because of the amount of people who just wanted Skinner and him to be a tag team because of the Steam Hams meme. And I really didn't understand why would someone want that when one of them has way more material than the other. So, what better way to show that Chalmers has zero potential than having a literal one-off as a Skinner's mirror? And not just a one-off that the show is trying its best to erase from history.
That man is the real Seymour Skinner.
Now, since he's a veteran from Vietnam, what if we took Skinner's moveset and changed it to make it entirely based on war weapons? Neutral B, for instance, could be a rolling grenade. Side B could be an actual rocket rather than an improvised one with a vacuum and some fireworks. Things like that. I imagine he would be a bit like Snake in Smash Bros. With a lot of explosions and long range attacks. Final Smash would be the same, of course. The main problem is that I feel this moveset would end up feeling very boring compared to the original, and too much like generic soldier to stand out from the rest of the cast. Because of this, don't expect much from this guy, aside from maybe a spirit. Unlike the girls in ASDF movies, the girls in stick figures on Crack appear so little that there is barely much material for Crack Figure Girl to have the same cohesive moveset as ASDF Gal, but you could try. Up B could just remain the same, as the girls were very important in the Bounce music video, while the rest of the moves could be based on different sketches even if they don't feature Crack Figure Girls. Neutral B could replace the basketball with a normal ball, but you can throw it multiple times until it grows super big like the Fanta can in Crack Figure's Side B. To compensate, Crack Girl's Side B could be the very same Fanta can, but after multiple throws, you will get the Fantanas to appear, who will simply remain by the opponent's side to slow them down. Down B could be a smaller version of the Burger Fall, to mirror the ball that goes up, and the Final Smash could once again rescue something from Beta Lawl Nova and have her drive the tank from the Tanks collab. Even then, I feel this is better suited as a costume. Originally, I had the same problem that I had with Samuel L. Jackson when it came to Yoel's mirror. He's a real life person, and a very distinctive one at that. When IREDE Gamer, a guy known for ripping off the angry video game nerd, has a unique moveset despite being a ripoff, Making someone like Rev or Vinny into a Joel mirror would be an insult. Early on, I considered Jolene, a Joel female clone that played uninvited alongside him in one stream. The problem is that it was just one stream, so not much could be given to her. Luckily, as of late, Joel created a character for many of his streams that is just perfect for this. Varg Friend. Stat-wise, this goofy looking version of Joel would be smaller but faster and more agile, much like how Pichu is to Pikachu but without the self-damage. As for the moves, while Joel mostly focuses on the classic side of the Vinesauce Joel streams, Varg Friend would be more based around the modern streams. Of course, he would also have moves based on the streams he is in, like Cutie, Sticky Paws, or Draw Your Adventure. From this last one, you could take the neutral B to have his fellow adventurers like Waldo, CBT Wizard, and Panther joining him as assist characters. He was also in Meme House, and his death could be represented as an attack where he turns into a ghost. You could even reference Garfield's cooking incident as the final smash, as it is a very iconic scene, with the entire stage being set on fire while it's filled with random Sims and Bill Gates playing GameCube. So yeah, I feel it could work, and it's surprising because I did not expect Joel to be that easy to come up with a mirror at all. Irene literally has a character in her game that is just her, but from the other side of the looking glass, Elise. Since we never see Elise using the effects, she could try to imitate them using the inhabitants of the mirror world. Like Neutral B could spawn the monsters from Neon World. She could have the Jade Harley lookalike appear to teleport her instead of turning into a witch herself. And for Down B, she could summon the Black Chess Soldiers directly, but since she's not the queen, they can attack her. Side B could remain the same or use the bicycle effect instead. As for the final smash, it could be the same, but we could also have Faceless, having a final smash of a similar style. Faceless is a very important character in the Looking Glass, and I gotta reference him in some way. The problem is that Elise is nothing more than a color swap of Irene, inverting her colors. She is already a color swap, as you can see in Irene's own moveset video, and expanding her into a mirror while making her look distinctive would be difficult. Even Pit and Dark Pit look more different than them. Maybe giving her another idol? I don't really know. Reddy is an insanely unique character on his own, as his moveset is based on multiple anniversary specials, collab videos, and his own forgotten original series. There is nobody in the Ravensverse who could have the same amount of collective material as Reddy. I remember one time I was suggested to make a Scapocon into Reddy's mirror. No. Of course, Reddy just begs to have a mirror that simplifies his moveset for a more casual player. And I feel like the one that would work the best for this situation would have to be another tag team, Sergio and Inigo. Unlike Reddy, who has multiple assists that he can summon, they will just have each other. Like Reddy, these two have appeared in a few different animations that would provide with a varied moveset. Funnily enough, in one of the animations, the Halloween Revenge 2, Sergio straight up parodies the same animation that serves as the inspiration for Reddy's character and that is his final smash in LOL Nova. So the final smash is the same, and the neutral B could be too, as they are both wizards. The rest would have to be different for sure, but the basis is already there. Another curiosity I have to mention about this idea is that Inigo wouldn't just be the same as Leo, as he would be a mixture of all of the assists into one. He has a gun, so he can imitate Gary Faceman, and he could even imitate Sulfura, due to... But I don't think these two guys would really be all that well received. They haven't even showed up in years, and we already have a crazy stickman in the roster. No need for more. Finally, we have Literally How. His source has 1 minute, and his assist trophy was already taken from the text review that the animation was based on. Scapocon, just how much can you scrap the bottom of the Tetris animated series barrel? I will tell you how. Let me introduce you to the Block Wizard. Yeah, here's another character only from Get Your Blocks Off. In the story of the animated intro, the magic bricks were bricks from Certain Limit's wall that came off the wall when it was being torn down. Afterwards, they came to America and met Zack. But there was an extra step in the review, as in that version, Zack bought the bricks from the shop of an old wizard, possibly as a parody of the Gremlins. In Nova, however, the Block Wizard could be a full-blown mirror for Zack. For the most part, the moveset would be exactly the same, but there is one major difference which would make this moveset interesting, and that's his own magic blocks. This is an idea that I got from someone in the LOL Nexus Discord server who suggested a Zack mirror based on the weird Tetris spin-offs. That's what the Block Wizard would be, as unlike Zack's blocks, which are simply different in hitbox, his blocks are largely different from one another. We could have Bumbly's blocks that could explode, Hat-Tree's hats that could latch into opponents to deal damage like the Pikmin, Weltree's blocks that could hide in the background and reappear in the foreground because they are in 3D, Wardtree's blocks, Facetree's blocks, anything goes. Maybe the up B could allow the wizard to create a wall in any direction he wants, because it's a reference to Tetris Sphere on the N64. This idea has the potential to be crazy, but you know what's also crazy? Make a moveset entirely with custom sprites for a mirror. It's too much of a hassle, sorry future Block Wizard mains. And that's all. Hope you liked this rundown. While none of these will really ever make it into Nova, I still hope you enjoyed having me discuss how would they work if I was forced to make a mirror of all of my characters. Until next time everyone,